What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training. Today we're going to be talking about how to confuse a DB off the line of scrimmage when he is guarding you in man coverage. So we're going to be talking about how you guys can make your releases look the exact same, how we can keep a DB guessing on his toes so we can get in his head and he overthinks everything that we do off the line of scrimmage, okay? So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it teaches you a few things about press releases, route running, and how to structure your routes to always get separation. Now, also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to get faster off the ball, you want to be more explosive with your releases, you want to be more explosive at the top of the route, improve your grip strength so your catching is better. Check out that very first link in the below for our wide receiver gym training bundle. So what it is, it's an 8-week long workout schedule where we break down every single gym workout wide receivers need to be doing with sets, repetitions, rest periods put into specific workout splits to take your game to that next level. So if you want 8 weeks of wide receiver gym workouts, check out that very first link below. Let's get started with this video. So first things first, we're looking at this kind of like hesitation slide release almost, like kind of a hesitation release to the outside, double up into a slant. Now this builds into a fade route. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but let's talk about this specific release and why we decide to attack to the outside and how that can build into a fade, right? We'll take a look at a fade here in a second. So when I got a DB and I got to run a slant route, and it's press coverage. Everybody knows that we don't want to just run into the slant, round this thing off, because that DB's probably chances are a little bit inside shade. As you can see, his outside foot is even with our inside foot, so it looks like he's inside shade, right? So I have to set him up to the outside. He's inside shade for a reason because he wants to protect the inside. So my goal is to get him to jump to the outside by attacking the space that he is willing to give me. He wants me to just get off the ball, run to the outside so he could get his hands right into my hip pocket and force me to the sideline, right? So as a wide receiver, I got to understand that. I got to understand that there comes a point in every single route where a DB has to commit his hips. A DB has to turn. A DB has to run with me, and that's how I have to approach this thing. So what Samuel does such a great job of here, he attacks him a little bit, and then he gives this like little hesitation skip into space, right? So right here, this DB is being patient, right? He's watching those hips. He's trying to mirror him. He understands that, okay, he could very easily just take off on a fade. He could very easily work something to the outside like a 5-yard out. So he's trying to be patient, and he is trying to watch those hips. That's what every good DB should do. He should be patient. He should stay in his stance. He should square you up and mirror you and try to watch your hips. So as a wide receiver against a good DB, I have to understand that when I sell a route, when I sell any kind of movement, I have to actually sell the route with my hips and with my shoulders, right? So when Samuel throws into this 1-2, he's very patient. Then he throws into this break. Look what happens. He throws his hip into the cut. He steps wide with the cut, his hips and his shoulders. And he gives a little bit of a head lean. Everything's saying that he's going to the outside right now. Like he's just hesitating and then he's kicking off to the outside. Hips, shoulders, everything's throwing to the outside. That's what it takes to get a DB to open up the gate. Not a bad DB. A bad DB isn't going to know the difference. A bad DB is going to open up simply because you slide to the outside. But you being able to throw that move, you being able to actually step wide, you being able to actually bring your hip with the cut, that's what gets that guy to jump, and that's how we can confuse him, right? This whole point of this video is to teach you about how you can confuse a DB and how you can make your routes look the same. And this is one of the great ways that you guys can do that. And you see, we get him to jump, we force a speed turn, and he accelerates out of this thing so great to win the race back to the ball, right? So now, when you think about every great wide receiver, what do they all have in common? Every great wide receiver off the line of scrimmage, they all do things similar. They all make their routes look similar. And one of the specific routes that builds off of a slant is a fade. Whether you're on the goal line, whether you're in the regular open field, whatever it is, they all build off of each other. So that's what we're going to be focusing on next. So let's watch thing full speed. This is a great example of how to use that little hesitation skip to the outside, operate in the space the DB wants to give me. He's going to be anxious to jump to the outside. If he's inside shade, he has a lot of ground to cover on the field, especially if you're out of the slot, especially if you're top of the numbers. This looks like we're maybe out of a slot alignment right here. So we got to understand that. We got to understand that this DB is going to be anxious. He does not want to let you just run right by him in man coverage. His biggest nightmare is getting beat on a fade. So if I could sell that fade, if I get him into that space outside, I could get some separation. So let's watch thing full speed one more time. Great job by Samuel working in space and then being able to accelerate out. Now, let's take a look at this. So same kind of alignment, right? Inside shade, DB's here, and we got a fade route now, okay? So now, maybe a couple times you're backside on the play. Maybe you're not involved with the play, and you've hit this guy with that slide, giving him a move, gotten the inside, maybe got some separation, maybe not getting the most separation, right? But that DB has seen you work that slide release before, where you're sliding into open space, you're patient, then you work that move. Now, every single guy always loves to say, every single DB, quote-unquote DB guru, loves to say that, oh, well, anytime you see that slide to the outside, just stay patient and sit to the inside. You only can run a slant off of that. Okay, so let's watch this video. Let's take a look at this thing full speed. So you see how Samuel slides, takes off. Any anytime that DB wants to guess what we're doing and wants to think that, and he wants to anticipate a route, we should beat him with another route, right? Obviously, you can't change the play. Obviously, I understand that. But if you know you're a guy that runs a lot of slants and runs a lot of fades, those two releases should look the exact same. So, right? So this DB's seen this before. He's seen Samuel come off with this little slide. He's thinking, no, I'm not going to get beat again to the inside. I'm going to stay as patient as I can. I'm going to sit to the inside. I'm going to take away the slant. I'm going to do whatever I can possible to take away this slant because I've seen this release before, right? But let's think about this on a bigger scale. When you have a DB who's maybe smart, who's a pretty smart guy, DBs all the time talk about film study. They talk about all the time understanding different route concepts, understanding what certain receivers like to run. Because chances are in high school, because I know that's where a lot of you guys are playing right now, high school youth ball, each receiver probably runs maybe like 5 different routes, maybe 6 different routes. I know there's 9 routes on the route tree, but like the main core routes that you guys run are probably about 5 to 6, right? So a good DB, if you're smart, if you're listening to this, you probably know what those 5 routes are, know what the formations are that they like to come out of, and what situations they like to run it in, right? That's a smart defensive player, and that's what defensive coordinators will do. So the same thing applies with releases. Let's say on every single time they have a slant, a receiver likes to work that slide release, give him a move, and then runs here. So now maybe I got a lot of fades in the playbook this week. Maybe we think that we could beat them over the top. Maybe they like to run a lot of cover one, whatever the situation may be. I'm thinking as a receiver, okay, I'm going to make my releases look the exact same. I'm going to hit him with that same hesitation slide release where I slide to the outside and then just take off. Why do you think Davante Adams is able to get so much separation off the line? It's not because he's doing all these fancy moves. It's not because he's doing all these crazy things. He makes his stuff look the same, and it's all built off that same hesitation skip because guys are going to be wrong no matter what. Maybe this DB guesses right a couple times, right? Maybe I slide to the outside and I work that move and I hit him with a 1-2 and I end up running into him. Okay, fine. I lost the rep. That's going to happen, but that doesn't mean that we just quit on every single release that we're trying to do. I lose a rep. That sets up future reps. That sets up that slide, and then I just take off to the outside because he wants to think that he's got this. He thinks that he's smarter than we are. He thinks that he's going to guess right every single time, sit to the inside, take that gamble. But if I can make my stuff look the same, I could beat him on that fade. And guess what? When he starts committing to that fade, anytime that he sees that slide after it, let's say we get him on the fade once, he's going to be thinking about it. He's not going to be guessing. He's going to have to watch your hips, and that's what opens up the route tree for us, fellas, because when he has to watch your hips, you could slide, you can hit him with that 1-2, and he's trying to stay disciplined because you might beat him on the fade, you might beat him on the slant. You are unpredictable. That's how you confuse a DB. Being unpredictable with what you do off the line, being unpredictable with the things that you bring to the table against press, that's how a DB can't guard you. That's how you're unguardable, right? So this is a perfect example of hitting that slide and go release and just taking off right there. Deebo Samuel, one of the best, making his releases look the exact same. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job sliding, taking off to the outside. Let's just beat him. We want to freeze him, stay to the inside, thinks he guesses this thing right, and then let's leave him. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I always appreciate the feedback. And again, fellas, if you want 8 weeks of wide receiver gym workouts, everything's broken down into sets, repetitions. We give you examples of each exercise in a picture format. Check out that very first link below. It's 8 weeks of specific schedule. Every single day is mapped out. We give you rest days, conditioning days, workout splits, rest periods, all that, okay? So it's very first link below. I'll see you guys next time.